is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode we are concluding Mobile Suit Gundam Walpurgis Eve. Last time, the hardliners tried to assassinate Sarana, but was saved by Mashido. Raymond was promoted and worked with Mannheim to create the Overon. He was forced to spy on the Grimoire system, and Laura Nakamoto found Haman's body double. This time, Sarana finally becomes Haman, but there are some negative side effects. Raymond works with the AEUG to find Orpheus, and everyone starts to converge on Olympus. So let's get into this. Mannheim's assistant informs him that they canceled the Overon. Also, his assistant refers to him as Tonio Oaks. I don't believe he knows him as Mannheim. He wonders if he could track down where they junk all their abandoned projects. But it's impossible even if they weren't just blindsided. AE's supply chain keeps things a mystery for the most part. He asks about Francesca, and the assistant informs him that she committed suicide last night. Perhaps someone tried to silence her. Earlier, they took the core pod. This contains a backup of the Shamal clone, which Mashido will back himself up into in the future. Mannheim wonders if the clan can retrieve Unit 1. Meanwhile, Fiorina and Concetta are running tests when Fiorina senses something. They are testing the Glashton and are preparing themselves for the Grimoire. After the test, Fi tells Haifan, but she doesn't tell him everything because what she sensed was Mannheim warning her to be wary of Haifan. Remember, Haifan was second in command on Siroko's Jupitrus and creator of the clan. Mannheim specifically says that Haifan is turning Siroko into an evil spirit. She then tries to blame it on a random feeling. She does tell him that she saw the dark side of the moon, however, which means she saw Granada. Haifan recently got a cryptic message from Granada that says that they want to return the White Grimoire to its original owner. The girls wonder if it's a trap. It doesn't matter. They need the White Grimoire to enact the Walpurgis plan. Haifan asks Fiorina to go find it. This is why she ultimately doesn't return it to Haifan. Mannheim is monitoring Mashido. His mental state regresses to a child. Then, suddenly, he becomes Shamal. Mannheim realizes this isn't his son's brainwaves. It must be Siroko's prime clone. They cut all the psycho waves in his pod, but this is pure psycho waves, bitches. Shamal instantly sees everything. The Overon, the Psycho Flare, and the Eldridge system. They sedate him until he passes out. Fiorina launches to hunt down the White Grimoire. The Beta team moves in as someone attacks the moon. Part of this team are Thane and Lint. The mobile suits attacking is the Fafnir. This is a rare shot of the Fafnir in mobile armor form. It transforms and throws off Thane's gem. They are running training exercises that throw off the Fafnir. Raymond meets with Kristoff to discuss the Grimoire system, even though Kristoff is only concerned with performance. Raymond explains the three important factors of this Grimoire. First is a quasi-Psychomu system. Second is the Eldridge system. And third is its function as a throne to bring back Siroko. Raymond explains the clones in a clear and concise language that probably should have been stated in Walpurgis. Kristoff says that this power existed. The Titan remnants would have brought it out years ago. But Raymond says his real goal is to take down the Siroko remnants. Then they awaken the Grimoire themselves. Kristoff says that one wrong move and they could be responsible for another war. He says, I have a daughter that I treat like shit. I can't go starting wars. Raymond reaches in his coat, and Jesse in the room pulls out a gun on him. But he isn't attacking. It's just plans for Orpheus. Half of humanity is gone. No amount of peace is going to stop the hatred of the past at this point. There needs to be something to force peace. They need the Psycho Flare. He convinces Kristoff somehow. 1 month later, Roxana Rox is looking at the Argama Kai-class ship, the Yulong. She is mad that Federica Hermie is getting the Nepo Baby treatment and getting assigned captain over her. Hermie brings up her brother that is more worthy of this position. But Kristoff says, don't you dare bring up your brother's name. Remember, Leonardo left the AEUG to fight for Zeon. Hermie visits her mother's grave. She runs into Thane and Lint. Thane is still blaming himself for Leonardo leaving. A random cargo shuttle passes by an AE shuttle. Out of the cargo bursts Fiorina. Fi tells the ship that they won't get hurt if they change course and do what she says. She could feel the presence of the throne, but it is weak. Fi suddenly senses someone. Sarana and Leonardo are looking over the new units. She is informed of Francesca's suicide and wonders if it was because of their involvement in Zeon. As Fi moves in to open AE's ship, she is attacked. It is Funnels. It is Haman and the Demeter. Fi calls it the Red Grimoire. Haman hears this and thinks there must be others. Her two wingmen threaten to hurt the ship if they hurt Fiorina. But Sarana thought ahead and already has funnels aimed right at the mobile suit's back. Fi is piloting a Marasai and was barely able to dodge a funnel. The Demeter moves in close and slices off her leg. On board, the AE ship Overon activates. Haman senses Siroko and gets the chill. Fi uses that moment to stab through the Demeter. We learn through a flashback that this isn't Sarana, but actually the Haman body double. Oh, that's why she was wearing the Haman wig. Version of expectations. Her real name is Reagan Rodan, and she says that she lives in Haman's shadows. She is with Sarana, who also looks like Haman. This is getting hard to keep track of. Everyone looks the same. She is merely a tool to die in Hamon's place. But Serana says she could be so much more than that. Together, the two could help rebuild what Hamon left. Serana actually wants her to be a mentor, and it seems like she sees her no different than her actual sister. That's very sweet. So anyways, come back to the present where Reagan is vaporized. Both the Marasai and the Demeter are dead in the water. Then Fiorina sees a Newtype entity. Reagan says, "How dare you kill me? I'm so going to haunt you." Fiorina thinks the hate must be fueled by Paptimus. That is when Serana comes in with her other Demeter. Reagan was in the prototype version. She slices through the Marasai. Fi escapes in the suicide ball of doom, but the Demeter grabs it. Realizing that Reagan is dead, she feels the need to crush this pod, but she must interrogate Fi. Bernardo comes in too late. She apologizes to Serana, but Serana doesn't exist. She says that she is Hamon, leader of Neo-Zeon. Conchetta wants the sortie, but Hyphen won't allow it. There is a reason there is two of them, in case a situation like this were to arise. She mustn't let her personal feelings get in the way of the plan. They're making modifications to what they call the Sphere, which I assume is the Overon-Galashtan combo. Conchetta might undergo enhancements, and Hyphen tells her not to push herself. They have to move Ambrosia, which is the pod of Shamal clones, while Orpheus is the Psychoflare. I originally thought they were one and the same. I still kind of do. I'm not confident. Raymond is on a video call with Melanie Hugh Carbine. He reminds Reagan that he needs to figure out what happened to Francesca. Later, he learns of the attack on the AE shuttle. Heimel, who is with Raymond, can instantly tell the debris is from a Marasai. He is reminded that Sirocco had his hands on everyone. No, I said that weird. Sirocco touched No. But why? Raymond wonders. Why would he scatter the grimoire between the AEUG, the Jupitrus, and Neo-Zeon? Was Francesca planning on starting a war, he wonders. You idiot, if anything goes wrong, you're going to start a war. Christoph even told you this. Jesse asks at the hospital about Serana and Machiro. He also wants to know about Dr. Ron, which is Lauren Nakamoto's fake identity. The receptionist asks for a warrant and shuts them down. One of the doctors overhears Jesse. They're doing a legal interrogation. The two see that the doctor is listening in. He says, "Good, we have questions for you." Meanwhile, Machiro is going to school on Olympus. Serana opens the pod. The Neo-Zeon hardliners have a base called Ka Rauza, which is a busted-up tip of an O'Neill colony. Colonel Galaga is their commander. He thinks Serana and her faction are just delaying the war. That is when Haman comes on the comms. She demands that Galaga give up the Sadalon-class ship in their possession. She gives him 1 hour. But Galaga knows that this is Serana, and his men go to battle stations. The Demeter and the Akzakus go into action. Galaga isn't buying it, but his men might be swayed. Bernardo fights against a man named Hatley Bato and an Arjarja. He realizes who he is fighting. It seems that he was his brother-in-law. Bato doesn't think his Aksaku is a match for modern mobile suits. The Sadalon-class ship sees and hears Haman. He thinks she is real and decides to turn against Galaga and fight her side. Galaga concedes to Haman's command, but she says that she has no need for dissenters and will purge them all. They destroy the Ka Rouses bridge. Serana's crew is shocked, and they all look at Lauren Nakamoto. We flash back to Lauren, who tells the crew that there is an issue with cyber Newtype enhancements. When they enhance people, there is usually a slave master situation, where there is ultimately someone fully under control of the cyber Newtype. They wonder what happens when it is done to someone at the top. No one controls the leader. On top of that, Serana's enhancements come from Reagan, and Reagan's enhancements seem to focus on war. This imprints onto Serana, and she may very well drop another colony on Earth. The crew collectively put their heads in the sand and say that that can't possibly happen again. They control what remains of Ka Rauza. The men celebrate the return of Haman. Sand, the Demeter tech, wants to remain at Ka Rauza to maintain all of the surplus of mobile suits. Harana allows it. Bernardo knows that Sand has lost his dedication for Serana once she killed Galaga and his men. He believes that Serana is still in there. They know that there's a lot of work to do if she wants to get real power, noting that Meneva and Shar are still out there. Meanwhile, Kristoff gets his hands on the O. Alize is testing the Psychomo on the Fafnir. Thane can't believe she was able to defeat his team. The two bicker at one another. We flash back. Francesca is dead and Raymond is trying to work with the Lees, but she refuses. Raymond says, "Look, you could work with me, or the Federation's Newtype scientists can touch you. Which do you want?" "No one wants to be touched in the name of science." Raymond says, "Don't worry, I'm getting screwed by the people above me. This whole world is pretty messed up, man. I like their honesty." Raymond says, "Let me speak a language that everyone understands," and whips out the Anaheim Electronics gold card. Kristoff is unable to get into the O. This isn't something that was created by Mannheim. This was directly handled by Sirocco, and requires his DNA to open it. He says this next to the Fafnir, which has sensors that lets Elise hear every word he is saying. Now she wants this treasure. Raymond is going to travel under the protection of the AEUG to help them. He realizes others know of the grimoire now. While Haman is interrogating Fiorina, her talisman lights up. Lauren Nakamoto sedates her. Her mind is still conscious, though her body isn't moving, and she could hear everything. Lauren notes it's a piece of Psychomu implanted into her, but she was in a Marasai, so it wasn't to control Psychomu's system. The AEUG is sending out 2 fleets. It seems like they are casting a wide net for something codenamed White. She realizes they are after the grimoire. Fiorina is the compass, and the mobile suit was right in her hands the other day. So close yet so far. Haman decides that she will steal this mobile suit. Thane finally understands that Mannheim wants his son to inherit the name Sirocco. Thane is a part of the new Yulong crew along with Jesse. Jesse mentions that Olympus is a private colony owned by Anaheim Electronics. The only intel he tells Thane is that their target is a kid who doesn't know who he is. Harana gives the whole Knights of Zeon spiel like Haman used to. The AEUG moves in on the Ka Rauza. Lent is in the new Nemo Rhymes. Thane tells him they are going to get flanked. As Harana's funnels overwhelm everyone, the Fafnir attacks. Haman can sense the double Zeta in this Gundam. Elise fires on Neo Zeon's men instead of attacking her. Sarana Man is on the defensive. Should I call her Harana or Sarana Man? Elise fires at her, and time slows down. She knows she won't be fast enough to move, but the Demeter dodges, only grazing one bit of her binder. She realizes this is the power of the grimoire. It is helping her move at the speed of thought. She also hears a voice telling her not to rely on intuition. It is the real Haman. Elise can't believe she dodged. Instead of fighting, she retreats to her ship. This battle just stops. Doesn't really end. It appears everyone that knows of the grimoire are making their moves. Everyone is after Sirocco's legacy. Harana thinks, well, it should be me then. They head to Olympus to look for the White Grimoire. On Olympus, Mashido and Lucia are talking about his YouTube videos that he is uploading. As the two split, he says he will see her tonight, but he doesn't. He doesn't. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam Walpurgis Eve. Walpurgis was unnecessarily vague for no reason, and I feel this manga was released to fill in the gaps. This really should have been a part of Walpurgis. Sirocco was the one who distributed his tech to all the factions, and even had Anaheim Electronics help him in that process. But unlike Anaheim Electronics, who helps everyone to sow chaos, Sirocco took the baby turtle approach and just wanted his tech to live on beyond him. And if you've seen Victory, it kind of does. This is a good story once you fill in the gaps, which the story for some reason tries to keep from you. Let me know what you thought of the Walpurgis series. I wish there were more stories during this transitional period of AEUG, but that will do it for now, Newtypes. Remember, if there's money to be made, Anaheim Electronics is there. Peace.